In the early hours of September 14, 2025, Russian social media channels near St. Petersburg started flooding with videos of massive explosions in a towering inferno. The target wasn't some frontline ammo dump, but something far more valuable to the Kremlin's war machine: the Kryvyi oil refinery, also known as KINEF. This place, located over 800 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, is one of the largest and most important oil refineries in all of Russia. Local authorities, including the regional governor, quickly claimed that air defenses had shot down the drones and that the fire was just from falling wreckage. But the sheer scale of the blaze caught on video tells a different story, one of a direct and successful hit on a piece of critical national infrastructure. Ukraine's general staff later confirmed the attack, marking another bold long-range strike in their relentless campaign against Russia's energy sector. According to initial industry reports, the attack was devastatingly effective, forcing a key processing unit to shut down. This was no random act. It was a carefully chosen target, hit with precision, and designed to cause maximum chaos. The flames rising from Kryvyi were a fiery symbol of a strategy aimed right at Russia's economic heart. So, the big question is, how did Ukrainian drones get through what should be some of the most protected airspace in Russia to hit a target over 800 kilometers away? The answer is a mix of new tech and smart tactics. First, the distance. Hitting the Leningrad region means you need long-range drones, a capability Ukraine has been rapidly building. Over the last year, Ukraine has rolled out a whole variety of homegrown drones, some with ranges well over 500 kilometers, all designed to be cheap and easy to mass produce. These aren't your typical hobby drones. They are purpose-built weapons of war, made to fly complex routes and dodge detection. That leads to the second point: swarm tactics. Russia's defense ministry often boasts about shooting down dozens of drones in these attacks. And while that sounds like a success, it actually reveals Ukraine's strategy: overwhelm the defenses. By launching drones in huge numbers, they force Russian air defense crews to burn through expensive missiles and give away their positions. It creates saturation, where there are simply too many targets to hit them all. Even if 90% are shot down, the 10% that make it through are enough to strike high-value targets like the Kryvyi refinery. The goal isn't for every drone to hit, but for the right one too. This strike was part of a much bigger wave of attacks across Russia, all meant to stretch and confuse air defense systems. As powerful as systems like the S-400 are, they can't be everywhere at once. Ukraine is forcing Russia to make an impossible choice: defend the Kremlin, protect military bases on the front, or shield the economic infrastructure that pays for the whole war. By hitting that infrastructure again and again, Ukraine is sending a clear message: deep inside Russia, nowhere is truly safe. So why this refinery? Why is Ukraine putting so much effort into these specific targets? To really get the importance of the Kryvyi strike, you have to understand what this refinery actually does. The Kryvyi refinery, KINEF, is an absolute giant. It's one of Russia's top-tier refineries, processing around 17.7 million metric tons of crude oil a year. That's over 6% of Russia's entire refining capacity. It makes a lot of different products, but crucially, it's a massive producer of diesel, gasoline, and jet fuel, the very stuff that powers Russia's tanks, trucks, and aircraft. The strike reportedly damaged a primary processing unit that handles nearly 40% of the plant's total capacity. Industry sources told Reuters that repairs could take at least a month. Even if other units work overtime, the refinery's total output could still drop by as much as 25%. That's a huge blow. This campaign is economic warfare in its most direct form. The oil and gas sector is the lifeblood of the Russian budget, funding a massive chunk of the government's spending. By taking out refineries, Ukraine hits multiple goals at once. First, it cuts Russia's ability to export valuable refined products, slashing its foreign income. Second, it helps create fuel shortages at home. Recent reports have highlighted rising gasoline prices and shortages spreading across Russian regions, causing logistical chaos and building internal political pressure on the Kremlin. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called these strikes the sanctions that work the fastest. And you can see why. You can find ways around financial sanctions, but you can't work around the physical destruction of a refinery. Every successful drone hit makes the problem worse, driving up repair costs, snarling supply chains, and directly hurting Russia's ability to fuel its war. This isn't about revenge. It's a cold, calculated strategy to make the war too expensive for Moscow to continue. Attacks like the one on Kirishi create a cascade of problems for Russia. The most immediate impact, beyond the lost production, is on military logistics. A drop in diesel and jet fuel, even a temporary one, puts a massive strain on the Russian army's ability to move troops and supplies. It forces them to either dig into strategic reserves or reroute supplies, creating delays and weak spots that can be exploited on the battlefield. On top of that, this campaign is forcing Russia to shuffle its most advanced military hardware. Every oil refinery and pipeline is now a potential target. That means Russia has to pull its best air defense systems, the ones needed to stop modern jets and missiles, away from the front lines to go play defense in the economic heartland. This creates a painful choice: protect the economy or protect the army. Every S-400 battery moved to guard a refinery is one less battery threatening Ukrainian planes in the east and south. Ukraine is using cheap home-built drones to effectively pin down and neutralize billions of dollars of Russia's most advanced weapons. There's also a huge financial hit. In the wake of these attacks, Russia's state pipeline operator, Transneft, has reportedly warned oil companies that they might have to cut crude oil production. With refineries damaged and storage tanks full, there's simply nowhere for the raw crude to go. This directly threatens Russia's production numbers, its position in the global market, and its state revenue. Finally, these strikes carry incredible psychological weight. They completely shatter the Kremlin's story of a special military operation that's happening somewhere far away. When a refinery near St. Petersburg goes up in flames, it's a powerful demonstration of Ukraine's reach and determination. It's a message to the Russian people and the world that Ukraine can and will impose direct, escalating costs on Russia for its aggression. The strike on the Kirishi oil refinery isn't just a one-off event. It's a key piece of a much larger and smarter strategy. Ukraine is showing a stunning ability to innovate, mixing long-range drone tech with clever swarm tactics to systematically take apart Russia's most vital industry. This is asymmetric warfare at its best. With relatively cheap drones, Ukraine is inflicting billions in damage, messing with military logistics, and creating serious political and economic heat inside Russia. It has pushed the Kremlin into a strategic crisis, forcing it to try and defend a massive territory from a threat that can appear from any direction at any time. This drone war is only going to intensify. Ukraine is pouring resources into domestic drone production and partnering with allies to build new, more advanced systems. The question is no longer if Ukraine can hit deep inside Russia, but how long Russia can adapt to this new reality. Can it stretch its air defenses thin enough to guard everything? Or will this relentless pressure on its oil and gas machine ultimately cripple its ability to keep fighting? The fires at Kirishi suggest that Moscow is running out of time to find an answer. If you want more in-depth analysis on the evolving tactics of modern warfare, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. For those who want to support the channel and get access to more detailed discussions, think about joining our community on Patreon. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. How big of an impact do you think this energy campaign will have in the long run? Thanks for watching.